What's up, everybody? What's going on, Japan? So we got some interesting discussions here about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Not only that, but how Ubisoft stock just hit literally almost an all-time low in the past 10 years. I mean, it tanked big time. I actually had a video about that recently, but this explains, and covers, you know, how it got to that, why it got to that, to the extent, of course, they're not gonna like be too huge on a controversy aspect. Joe Raptor is a nice dude. I like him. He's not rude or anything. It's obvious these guys love Ubisoft. I mean, I used to like them a lot too, so I can understand. But, they are a bit worried, of course, too. And we're gonna go through this. Like I said, this is an hour and 10 minutes long. I'm not gonna do a full hour and 10 minutes. We'll do like 30 or whatever and react along the way because that's enough to cover things. They do have some interesting stuff a little bit after that. I've watched most of it. So let's go ahead and dive right into this and like, subscribe, y'all. I appreciate that.
That you're joining for the weekly Assassin's Creed show. I'm of course always joined by Frankie Boy, also known as Fragnart. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Hey, man. Thank
Um,
you for having me.
yeah, of
Nice to see
course.
you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. We have an interesting show, as the title and the thumbnail kind of reads. I wanted to. I think this is gonna be an interesting discussion. I wanted to kind of go over, should we be worried about Assassin's Creed Shadows? And it's not gonna be like a downer episode or so. Just throwing it out there with some things, some recent news that has been happening with Ubisoft.
No, it doesn't have to be a downer, but if you just look even at the track record that we're about to go over, you see it's just going down and down and down. And I don't think this game is hyping up a ton of people. We know about the controversy aspects, which we've covered. I understand what he's saying, but it's like they haven't fixed any damage that they've done. And even in their recent events, seeing what they did at Gamescom and previously before, they're not making it to where you want to be excited for this game. They didn't do anything positive recently with Japan. They didn't remedy anything. So that's my concern as an Assassin's Creed fan, because just because you did something very bad with Assassin's Creed fan doesn't mean I don't like the series anymore. I love assassinations. I love stealth. And then now you're doing it in one of my most favorite areas in the world where it could have been, insanely epic. And to be honest, also about that, speaking on that, there's just not enough that they've shown us. And they talked about this later on too, and I said this to a lot of people as well. Everything that you've showed us, though you've done that in the wrong manner, is only a little small slice of the pie. There's so much we just don't know. You haven't showed us a lot because you've been trying to market Star Wars. So what the hell are you not showing us? There's so much to this game because we know that Kubek who's making it and all the other Assassin's Creed teams lately, these games are massive. So there's so much that we just don't know. So yeah, and if I would play this game, obviously I would rent it, but I would do obviously Naoe because I would want to play as a ninja. I'd want to assassinate people. I'd want to see the art of the Land of the Rising Sun. I'd want to see that in a positive way, and I'd like for them to do the right thing, but they haven't done that. So yeah, we still have a long ways to go with this game, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes in the next few months. Let's continue.
Um, like, will that impact Shadows? And is the situation that is kind of going on right now kind of healthy for this company? And are they now maybe relying more on Shadows than should be healthy? Again, if
Everything
we like
falls on
kind
it.
of like where I want to start. First of all, of course, every Wednesday we're live here, so thanks for joining.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's 3 p.m. Central European time, 2 p.m. UK time. It's early in the US, but of course the video will be up after we went live. Thanks everyone for joining. Makkerman, good to see you as always. Mark Chipnuk, I appreciate you. And yeah, thanks everyone else there. 11 p.m. in Australia. I mean, it's better than 2 a.m. because that's usually if you like want to be streaming for the US, then Australia is kind of left in the dark, sadly. But where I want to start with this is this article from Insider Gaming from Tom Henderson. Of course, we know Tom Henderson.
He's
Whoop,
reliable. I like him.
Whoop,
like
we know
this.
him.
I mean, he follows me, so yeah.
Yeah.
I know him personally. No, I don't know him, but he has done some great reporting, of course. So it's always interesting to hear what he has to say. So basically, he says Ubisoft stock tanks to a 10-year low after lukewarm Assassin's or Star Wars Outlaws launch, and I actually have a link to the where did I put it? To the stock. Do we?
Yeah,
It's so
that's a
insane
reason.
because the stock was once risen to $100 with the reveal of Star Wars Outlaws being made by Ubisoft. So
Yeah. So
the
we have
first thing that happened was
Because they had high hopes for that. That was the division team. You know, I like the division team. They're not that bad. They just need to evolve their foundation. It's too simple. So the biggest problem with Star Wars Outlaws is not necessarily just the Kate character, because that does matter, but it's also just how simple and bland it can be. Like, it should have been way more epic. Now, Respawn knows what they're doing. Like, we look at Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, that's how you do Star Wars. That was epic. But the Division devs, I just don't think they were given the budget that they deserved, and they should have put more time into the game, and it shouldn't have came out yet. And then yeah, that protagonist is just not it.
it was risen by Star Wars, and now it was driven down by Star Wars as well. So-
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Star
especially
Wars fans
crazy
are not
that
going to accept it.
they started the year at 23 euros, of course. Yeah, it's all in euros here, and yeah, they're now 15% or 15 at 15 euro. So they already lost.
Man, I remember when they used to have like 70, 80, 90 euros. It used to be one of the highest rated in the world that Ubisoft stuck. You know, it was going very well for them. Definitely during the Far Cry 5 peak. I freaking loved Far Cry 5. That game was so good. I love that series as well.
A lot of value, like 8 euro in terms of like per stock value. And then we go to the 5-year. I know we're kind of blocking, so if I can like kind of do it like this, maybe we can move ourselves a bit. So,
Whoop whoop.
whoop.
Ah, the euros.
Yes,
I
there
mean,
we
most
go.
most of you guys are likely gonna think about US dollars, but
I look at all, bro. I even look at
Yeah, no,
Japanese
you
stock.
might,
I look
yeah.
at Nikkei. I look at
it
all
makes
that.
sense. I mean, they have headquarters, of course, in Paris, so
It's good
to
know.
that's probably why. But and some people are saying, who's Tom Henderson? He's like a reporter. He has been he reports on a lot of Ubisoft things. He has some sources inside the company and has his website Insider Gaming where he shares all that stuff. So sometimes we hear about some plans from Ubisoft a bit before they are supposed to be
Or
revealed.
Nikki, or however.
Which is interesting, so we can like kind of discuss and analyze things. But yeah, this is not looking good, of course. Like at one point
No.
in I think if we even go to max, so the highest point they ever had was 100 euro in July of 2018, and
Exactly.
this was during E3. I mean, this was E3 when they announced Odyssey. So I think here was kind of like, okay, Assassin's Creed not doing as well. Syndicate, of course. Yeah, we see here a
Syndicate
dip
was okay.
when Syndicate came out, because that, of course, didn't do as well as they anticipated. But then, yeah, they kind of... Origins was great, so it went up. They, of course, had Far Cry, which was doing very well, Far Cry 5. And then, Far Cry 5 was like 500 million revenue, I think.
I'm gonna tell you, I 100% at Far Cry 5, and we're gonna get to Assassin's Creed too, but they wanted to cover this first because it's gonna see how everything falls on Shadows after this. You see right here, Far Cry 5 sold 25 million copies. It was amazing. It's humorous. It's funny. I mean, I absolutely love the game. I beat all the DLCs. I've beaten everything. And yeah, he's right, because in that time you had Far Cry 5, you had the success of Assassin's Creed Origins, you had Odyssey around the corner, you had Division still doing well. They announced the Division 2, they announced a crew game. I mean, they had announced the next Far Cry. I mean, they had a lot going on, and it was all looking positive. And then here comes this DEI crap.
In like a weekend. Like, it was crazy. Like, that game
Yeah.
was super successful.
that was even a surprise for Ubisoft themselves.
And Sweet Baby Inc.
And also for my channel, which
So that's interesting, y'all. Let's look at this. Right? When were they founded? 2018. After that,
which blew up out of
Yeah.
nowhere with Far Cry 5.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Eventually.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we of course have been there covering these games in the heyday, kind of.
With the Vector back then in the good old times.
Yeah, and Cheeseburger, the bear and stuff. That was good times. But yeah, then Odyssey was announced, and yeah, everything was going well, but it has been going down ever since. Like, of course, COVID. So Valhalla doing insanely well. Again, we see a huge spike there.
I enjoyed Valhalla.
But really, and that's what I've been talking about many times during
But
during the Sunday videos.
not as
of
much
course,
as
every
Origins.
Sunday I post like a gaming news roundup video. Is that Valhalla was kind of the last real like runaway success they had in terms of financial gains. And that game was that's the first Assassin's Creed that made $1 billion in revenue, which is crazy. Like Assassin's Creed 3 maybe in the grand scheme of things still sold more. I'm not sure if that's still the case, of course, because Valhalla was supported for many years. But Assassin's Creed 3 was always the most successful in terms of like fastest selling Assassin's Creed.
I still haven't played that one. I need to.
Valhalla, just made. I mean, games were more expensive, microtransactions, of course, huge DLCs. So that game, the first Assassin's Creed to reach $1 billion in revenue, which is huge for one game. But yeah, after that, we went down. Kind of, we went kind of up here with Far Cry, but that also didn't do as well.
6 was
timber,
like,
but
5 is way there.
And yeah, it has been going down ever since. It's crazy that they went from €78 to like 15.
Yeah.
And if you look at other companies, and we can
the
like,
mighty have
quickly,
fallen.
I don't want to like make this like a financial show, but it kind of does prove my point.
It needs. We
If I
need to
look
know
at,
though.
like, EA stock.
People need to understand what that means.
Take-Two, for example.
Because you got all the investors looking at things and like, this is just not going well. What you promised, what you're supposed to be doing, your behavior, everything. It's just I'm not investing into you. Just like they just pulled the stock after the Star Wars launch even more. I mean, it's not good. And can Assassin's Creed Shadows help? I don't really think so. I think they're going to need something else. We're going to see.
Like 2 other
Still have a lot to
publishers,
reveal.
of course. If we look here, like
Ubisoft right now, it looks like an endless downhill drive. And EA is just
EA is like from max. They're
selling
like,
FIFA.
They're at their highest, almost their highest.
Yeah.
peak
Yeah, but
right
EA's
now.
not stupid like that.
And if we go to Take-Two,
Hate to say it.
stock.
Yeah. Everybody else is doing
They know
better.
what they can get away with.
Gaming stocks in general, they are quite volatile, in my opinion. So when you never know what happens when a game releases, even though it's successful.
Sure.
Sometimes.
But the point is kind of that people have kind of lost where the other companies also had their dips. Like Take-Two has not released a major game since Borderlands 3 in 2019. Because all the other games are, if you don't count...
They've been carried by GTA because you see when GTA released ever since then, and then they released Red Dead. Their games last a long time, and then they're promising people a huge world with GTA 6. And then now they're doing a bunch of other IPs as well, too. They got NBA every single year. They have a couple other stuff going on, so they're pretty reliable.
NBA that they launch every year.
Yeah.
GTA Online that just keeps making money, etc., etc. And still, they're like completely fine. But they have GTA 6 coming, and that's of course
GTA
why.
is just covering everything.
Yeah, that's gonna...
One interesting stock as well is, of course, CD Projekt, which is down as well since the release of Cyberpunk, which was just this huge crash. But Ubisoft has been slowly but steadily going down over the years with all those failed projects, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of my point, is that it feels like they kind of still...
by Take-Two as well.
Lost touch. They kind of are still figuring out. Like Lost Generation, they started with Watch Dogs, and we can all... not a lot of people... it did not live up to the sort of first reveal they had.
I enjoyed Watch Dogs, though.
For it. People were like, whoa, this looks like something new. I want to try
I 100%
it.
at all
Watch
of them.
Dogs 2 came out 2 years later. And
I forgot that came
way
out,
better.
too.
They made The Division, which was huge. Ghost Recon Wildlands was enormous.
Forgot about that.
We mentioned Far Cry 5 already. Assassin's Creed Origins. We, of course, had Black Flag at the start of that generation. And then, after Odyssey, so 2018... They had Division 2 2019 that didn't really do...
DEI. Cancer. Get out.
Set the world on fire, then Valhalla, and after that, they have not had like a major hit. And that's coming back because we're, of course, an Assassin's Creed show. Coming back to Assassin's Creed Shadows, like, is it gonna turn around? And that's where kind of I think the statement is coming from. Like, should we be worried? Because they haven't had a major runaway success since Valhalla. Mirage was a success. Like, that was because they did not expect it to sell 10 million, and it was a Valhalla DLC they turned relatively quickly into a big game. I mean, I think looking back at Mirage, I had a great time. What is your like?
I still need to play that.
It's like a year ago now.
When I do a renting
Mirage came
aspect.
out. What is your like takeaway on that?
Seems like an eternity right now.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's already a year. Mirage was great, in my opinion. It turned out better than I thought, and it sold better than I thought. So that was a nice thing for Ubisoft to happen out of like kind of a surprise rise, maybe for a short period of half the month. In my opinion, Assassin's Creed Mirage could have been more, of course, but for what it was great, and I think they did well. Now, the bad thing is that Ubisoft is so reliant solely relying on Assassin's Creed right now, which is, of course, the topic of this. I mean,
and you would think after relying on it solely now, the reason probably why they haven't shown anything is because they're doubling down, tripling down, making sure they can make it as presentable as possible. I would hope that's what they're doing. And that's why they don't have anything to show, and then they have something huge to show soon. They're going to try to do the right thing. I mean, if you were smart right now, think about it. There's no way they could be that dumb. I don't believe this. That's why I believe, like I said, there's a mafia invasion. The best way to turn this thing around, because it even hurts shareholders and stocks, it hurts everything, is to try to do the best thing you can to make this game do very well. There's still a lot, like I said, that hasn't been shown. But yeah, if you were smart, try to make everything better. Try to make amends with Japan. Like, do it. Like, I would just say, we need to do this. You know what I mean? We have to. It's the right thing. Are they going to do that? I don't know. Where's Thomas Lockley at? I don't even know if that Fox will even show up. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, I mean, just think about it. You guys, too. I would hope if you like Ubisoft and you're an Assassin's Creed fan and you want things to be positive, the only way for that to happen is to do the right thing. It's kind of the world putting you in that super negative curse position where it's like, yeah, we have to turn this around. So, and either you do or you don't. And negative things keep happening because your stock has crashed into the ground. The only way to go up is to start making things more positive, to put more love out there. But we're going to have to see. Because I'm disappointed in them. A lot of people are disappointed in them. I never hated Ubisoft. I still don't hate them now because this just goes to an aspect of the company over in Quebec. This goes back to Sweet Baby Inc. This is a portion of them, but it's not the whole. I'm not going to just deem everyone all bad apples in one basket, but there is a portion of that that's representing the company, and it matters. So, yeah.
Yeah, dropping from $100 to 16 is so crazy, and the worth of the company is from, I think they were Europe's most valued publisher.
Yeah.
But right now, I think they are pretty far down compared to some others. Maybe Embracer is even more.
Means you got knocked on your ass.
Embracer is a different type of thing, of course. I put down a poll for people there in the YouTube chat. I still think like poll in Twitch. I think it's possible, but it's like I have to. Oh, man.
It's possible, yeah. But you have to add the widget to your dashboard.
Okay,
if you didn't already.
I put down. I put yeah. Sometimes I'm just a boomer.
Oh, by the way, I have this awesome Ubisoft cup.
Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I stole it from the office.
Nice. Okay.
So that's why the stock is down now. Of course, I didn't steal it.
The poll is already active. It's not.
It is on YouTube, and I voted.
Oh, thanks. Someone already did it. Is that you, Wesley? Nice, thanks. So yeah, we're right now at 70%. It was like, I liked it looking back at Mirage. And I agree. I especially loved the combat way more than I anticipated. And I thought they really did some cool stuff with, it felt...
With the stealth.
Yeah, no, for me, the stealth was really the wake-up call that we needed new things. And that's why I'm excited for Shadows. That is, of course, gonna bring, finally, those new moves and like, being able to remove light to stay in the dark and stuff like that. Like, for Mirage, for me, was like, we can't do this anymore. It's nice to have
it's
the
called
tools
Shadows.
again. But I don't want to like whistle to have a guard run into a grass again. I know it's kind of part of it, but I prefer like having way more different tools, and it seems that Shadows is gonna deliver that. So that has me very excited. But yeah, I think the thing that you were alluding to in particular, that kind of makes me not worried, but it like, I'm not sure if it's healthy. Where, again, so they just released Outlaws, and yeah, I mean, the game is like fine. It's good. I think more people will pick it up when it's like at the end of this year, and then...
Brother, no, this game is not fine, and I wouldn't say it's a good game. It's okay. There's a lot of work to be done. I like the Division devs, like I said, but a real Star Wars fan would no.
I'm sure people will like it for like a lower price, maybe.
Yeah.
I see a lot of praise for it, but I also see maybe lower reviews than I sometimes expected from a big game like this. But I think,
and it's actually getting review bombed on Metacritic again.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I don't think we should like look at the Metacritic user scores.
No,
I'm
they're
not sure if that's,
childish.
like interesting, but because they are always being manipulated. But the point is that I do think that this should have been like a slam dunk. When we heard, like, even before this game was announced, the premise of an open world Star Wars game from Ubisoft had a lot of the people's like kind of imagination run wild. And to be here and be like, yeah, it's a success, but it also, like, I think in the UK, and this only physical sales, but it only sold 15% more than Avatar in the first week. And to be honest,
it's terrible.
And Avatar did not even have early access. So the game was out longer, Outlaws, compared to Avatar, if you compare the sales, which is kind of crazy. Because you would think, like, if you asked me before the Avatar release, which game is going to be way more popular, I would say Star Wars, hands down. But it seems that Avatar is kind of like, it's still closer than they, I think, anticipated. So we have this article here.
DEI, brother, come on. I know you guys don't want to say it because you're trying to like find a different route. I know y'all have been with Ubisoft for a while, but I'm not being negative either because you're not a rude person. You're a nice guy. I actually like you. I think you're cool. But it's the DEI, brother. It's the ignorance. It's the unwillingness to work with the real fans and the unwillingness to do the right thing and trying to force things in the gaming industry that don't belong there, having people that are unqualified in development positions, and we see that it's hurting the soul of things. But it's also being attacked, and it's failing everywhere. You know it as much as I do. If we look around everywhere that has done DEI, it all falls, like literally almost everything. And definitely like right now, people at first were not as aware, like if you go back years back, but now a lot more people are alert. They got that MGS thing, they know. Like, and it's because of us doing the right thing, and we got to keep doing the right thing. So Assassin's Creed Shadows, the crowd is already there looking at it that way. The only way to remedy that is to fix the DEI. Otherwise, it is going to be a problem. They're going to have to make this insanely epic. You're going to have to be some rock star, because we know it's going to be in GTA, but GTA is going to be mostly good and epic because they know what they're doing. Same thing with CD Projekt, because they're good developers, but their stock still crashed, as he was saying too. So they're going to have to recover from that. It's just not going to be easy. And they are relying on this to be successful now because everything else just went down to hell. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to help a lot.
Here, JP Morgan, like one of the
Unless they just
investor
blow our minds the next few
bankings,
months,
is like slashing the
a
sales
miracle
forecast by 2
happens.
million, predicting 5.5 million units sold by March 2025. Okay,
I mean,
Outlaws.
5.5 million games, that's a lot. But if you take into account that
For
this
Star
awesome Star
Wars,
Wars license is
I mean,
like the carrying
yeah,
factor
I
for the
mean,
game,
Star
it doesn't seem
Jedi
much.
Fallen Order sold, I
Cal
think 10 million
Kestis
in like a
loved
few
Fallen
months.
Order
Yeah.
and Jedi Survivor. Those games
It
are
came
amazing.
out in, I think,
And that's the only
it
thing
sold
that's
over
great
10 million
in the Star Wars universe lately.
units by March 2020, which was like 5 months after launch. And Star Wars Outlaws, according to their predictions, which of course based on all of research, is gonna sell half of that in like a longer period of time. That's not good. That's not good. Then we have the X Deviant thing, where it's like, yeah, the game is not. It had a great start, but people are losing
As soon as
interest.
Call of Duty
So they
comes
got
out,
till
that's going
season
down.
3 to kind of turn that around. But then we get to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Will be crucial to making this financial year this fiscal year a financial success. Despite the game already seeing the fair share of online discourse, our sources suggest its pre-order numbers are strong, and that's of course great news. Like having
I don't
a
know. I don't
successful
trust
Assassin's
them.
Creed series and a successful Ubisoft is good for everyone, and for us.
Because there was just an aspect about the pre-orders only being at 900 across, or being a. Hold on. You know what? Yeah, I mean, we just had this right here. Pre-orders less than 800 units from national chain with over 900 stores over here in the US. Now, digital could obviously be higher. They could have maybe 50, 60,000. That's still not amazing. So I don't know about that.
Us as fans of the series as well.
They need that. Yeah.
But that
Hmm.
is kind of the thing where I'm like, but are we now like my things are already because Outlaws, all the other things they wanted this financial year. So if you're not familiar, April 2024 is when their financial year started. At the end of March is when it ends. So in this 12-month period, they had X Deviant, they still have the Prince of Persia DLC, they had some Skull and Bones seasons. Rainbow Six Siege is still doing very well in the background, so that's like keeping them
Skull and
afloat
Bones
as
felt
well.
hard too.
But in terms of big releases, they had Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it seems that Outlaws might, and we will have to wait and see, maybe if they do a sale, people pick it up again. Maybe, I don't know, at the end of the year it looks better than it looks right now. Still though, I kind of worry that they're now.
But Ubisoft has been doing this lately. Even before the DEI stuff, they'll always release games like that, and then they won't give up on their games. They'll finish them. That's the thing that I do like about them, is that they finish their games over time. They never stop updating. They don't give up on their games. So that is something that is known at Ubisoft. Like lately, they do that. Like DEI stuff out the way. So that's something I could say, and I usually do that sometimes. I'll wait 6 months after their games come out, or even sometimes a year if I'm so busy, and then I'll see the hundred and whatever dollar gold edition be on sale for like 25, $30, and I grab that and I have all the DLCs. It's fully optimized, it's fully updated. Then I go in and enjoy it. Unless I really, really have to get the game day one, you know what I mean? But now you have the Ubisoft Plus where you could just pay like 17 bucks. And like when I do that, I'll be able to have Mirage, Shadows, and Outlaws all at the same time. So instead of me spending like $250 and $300, I'm doing that for a very small fee under 20 bucks. That's worth it.
Banking everything on Shadows, and
And then
that
be
might
done.
mean
Because I don't
that
want
they're
to go
gonna
back. I don't
nickel
care
and
about
dime us more,
alternate.
so that they're gonna be like, okay, shit, this is now the biggest thing we have. Outlaws, we lost. Like, let's try and balance things out. Let's go a bit more aggressive on the item packs or whatever, battle passes, or everything that we don't really want. Like, I think it's gonna be very interesting with, of course, Assassin's Creed Infinity and the Animus Hub, how they're gonna monetize everything. We of course know
I
probably if you
understand.
just buy the game, there will be a store.
He's right though. That's what I mean. I think they have to put MTX in there, but that can be ignored. We know that. But the thing is that how are you going to reveal things? How are you going to show us? Because all that matters. Like they're banking on this for the rest of the year, so they have to be doubling down, putting more people on there, trying to do the right thing. I mean, if I was them, I would go work with Japan, but you know they're not going to do that. So, and that is, I don't even know if they have the time now, but I would be there with Ubisoft Japan, going to Japan saying, hey, we're going to try to do the right things. Where's that idea at? Doesn't exist.
Or thing,
Well,
and
it does right
I
here.
think you can probably just ignore it, just like the other games. But still, I am curious if they might be like, okay, we really need Assassin's Creed to hit on maybe bigger levels than we first wanted to. So let's, yeah,
Their
squeeze those
fault.
people dry. That's kind of where, and maybe it's like, maybe that's not gonna happen. Maybe I hope not, because that would destroy some goodwill, of course. But that's kind of the where it is
Brother, they've been doing that all year.
unhealthy for Ubisoft to just have these two main things that are doing well, Rainbow Six Siege and Assassin's Creed, that they are reliant so much on them to keep the other stuff afloat as well. So that's where kind of my maybe worry is coming from. It would be way better if Outlaws was a huge success as well. And yeah, I mean, that's why they're in Outlaws no microtransactions at launch, because
That's good.
they're like, we don't have the goodwill here. If we can get a lot of goodwill because people are not like very like already very much in this series, like they're not running out to buy this game, so let's make the barrier to entry, let's make sure that there are no bad headlines about how the item store in Outlaws is full of stuff. Let's try to like limit that so more people hopefully buy the game. With Shadows though, they know, again, pre-orders are already strong, they can get away with more probably, and they don't have to call Disney to ask if anything is alright. They can do anything they want. So that's where kind of my worry is coming from. Do you think that that makes sense or not?
It kind of makes sense, of course. I mean, with Outlaws, they have proven that they can decide to postpone microtransactions. They are actually coming out with a first
Yeah, I
DLC,
think
I
in the
think.
fall, yeah, in November maybe.
Yeah,
Or December.
so they are likely gonna, yeah, have a lot of financial damage by postponing that for better press. Of course,
Yeah,
because people are
100%.
always complaining about microtransactions with a good reason, of course. In single
Mm-hmm.
player open world games, you don't need that.
Correct.
Um, for Assassin's Creed Shadows, I don't think that they will likely make new decisions right now based on the lack of success of Star Wars, because it's too late. I think they will not change their plans for early microtransactions, etc., right now.
I think so too.
But they might, of course, take into account that raising prices for future DLCs or maybe item packs by just a few euros, that could really make a difference, like selling them for $22 instead of 20, and maybe almost as many people are getting it, increasing their revenue for that.
Yeah, and
Um,
we know maybe about a subscription they want to do. Like of course GTA Online has a subscription, and Fortnite as well. Like all these sort of live service games have these subscriptions where you get like a benefit at the end of the month and maybe some other
mhm.
boost or something. So they might look at that, but that's again where my issue is coming from. Like they are now expecting, at least you can look at it from that angle. They're now expecting this camp to kind of like make up for all the other things that are maybe not doing well. And I don't want that burden to be on Assassin's Creed as a series, as it might hurt it in the long run.
I mean, that burden has been on Assassin's Creed forever
Oh, that's right.
because
Yeah.
because Ubisoft most successful thing is Assassin's Creed, of course, and Rainbow Six is the second, I think, because yeah, they actually, as you said, earn a lot of that because it's a successful multiplayer title, and it has been releasing content for years, which is great for them to support other things and other ideas with the money.
Yeah. I mean, it's back to the same thing again. Now everything relies on this game. So the best thing they can do is try to do the right thing from here on out. Hopefully they do that. But this is a good amount of that. After this, it's just more stuff. And if y'all want to watch this, I'll link it. But y'all can find Joe Raptor. Y'all know who he is. He's a nice person. He doesn't attack anyone in Japan. He didn't do any of that. He just kind of does what he does in his own world. So I don't particularly have an issue with him. Though with his influence, he could probably just be more open about the DEI invasion, but I see that he saw that a lot of other people are doing that, And I don't know if they're getting paid or not, who knows, but all in all, let me know what y'all think. Definitely over in Japan too, leave a comment. We see Ubisoft's at the lowest like ever. This is not looking good for them. And what are they gonna do from here forth going on? All right, y'all. Like, subscribe. Y'all like this. Y'all have a good day, evening, night, wherever you're at. Peace out.